Halftime Pizza and FightSaga.com proudly present War Week Radio with 5-decade fight trainer James Gogue.
Guys, welcome. Happy Sunday to all of you. And guys, if it's Sunday evening and there's a big fight this coming up Saturday, that means only one thing. That means we're seeking the counsel of the 5-decade fight trainer, Maestro James Gogue. James, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Hey, Joe, I'm doing good. There's a great fight next week. I've been looking forward to watching. I think it's, like I said, styles make fights. You got two guys that are, have that physical, aggressive mindset. They both want to go for the knockout. And in the co-main event, another good fight that's flying under the radar. Muratalla against my friend, Azabachi Torres from nearby Guadalajara. 17-0, 16 knockouts.
Yep.
What's that?
Yep. Torres Nunez. That's right.
No, he's 17-0 with 16 knockouts. Azabachi Torres from Guadalajara, one of Fernando Beltran's bright prospects. And Fernando just don't put you in a fight like that unless he knows you're ready. So he sees something in the kid, and he pulls this fight off. It's going to be a tough fight because that Muratalla, but he's never answered questions. Muratalla, he's always been asking the questions, but he's never been answering the questions, and that's what I always want to see. When it goes too easy for a prospect like Muratalla, you know what I mean? You have your doubts until they start answering some questions. And this fight, because this Azabachi, he can punch, and he's not your typical Mexican fighter that just comes forward and and takes punches. He's more of a boxer, counter puncher, but he can punch. Okay, and he's very patient, fundamentally sound. So I want to see how he does against this Muratalla, whatever his name is.
It's Raymond Muratalla versus Diego Azabache Torres, and that's going to be a barn burner in your co-main event. But guys, the main event tonight on this show is going to be Gogue's pre-fight preview. Well, big fight preview of Emmanuel Navarrete versus Oscar Valdez. They're going to be competing this Saturday night for the vacant WBO super featherweight title, left vacant by Shakur Stevenson. But guys, that's in your main event. We have a lot to discuss. Leading up to that point, though, guys, we're going to be talking about, Dillian Whyte and his third strike. Gogue, what do you always say about a fighter when they get their third strike testing positive?
And suspend him indefinitely. Come on, he already got twice. He got cut twice. Now this is his third time. Man, come on, man. How many times you got to give guys chances, man?
We're gonna talk all about that situation. And guys, there's a very good possibility, and we'll explain why we think so, that this event could be cranked up to first class. And no, I'm not talking about Derek Chisora. We'll talk all about that in a bit. We're also going to talk about get Gogue's final thoughts on Crawford Spence, the epilogue, how well it did on pay-per-view, and the fallout, or what the ripple effect may be for our beloved boxing. But first, Gogue, let's just get this out of the way, brother. Oh, boy. Are you ready, sir? It's time for...
Hey, we ain't ducking and dodging nobody. It's time for Fact or Fiction.
Thank you, Floyd. Appreciate the honors, brother. Number one, coach. Fact or Fiction. Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz at the American Airlines Center last night in Dallas, Texas. Doubled Spence versus Crawford's numbers on pay-per-view. Fact or fiction, sir?
I think it did. From what Jake Paul was saying, that the trending pay-per-view sales, it was bigger than the Tommy Fury one. Shit, I mean, you're talking about Tommy Fury was a huge fight. It did over 800,000? Oh,
850,000. Yep.
Jesus. And this Nate Diaz is, he's mainstream. Okay,
Yep, in the
he's a
States.
UFC
Yep.
legend. Everybody knows who he is. He has a big fan base behind him, and you can see the place. Jake Paul was saying that ticket sales were probably the best he've ever done. And
Yeah, it's sold out. Yep.
oh, it's sold out.
Yes, sir. An American Airlines Center, standing
Woo!
room. Yep.
So, hey, Joe, the dude, you say what you want to say about Jake Paul, but he's good for boxing because a lot of champions out there is not doing stuff he's doing. Okay.
Well, he might be better, Coach, than we all ever imagined. Now, I'm going to explain this to you, and I want to ask you what this potentially means to the future of the business end of boxing, right? Because no one else is talking about this, but we are going to. And once again, because of your expertise of everything boxing, not just what goes on in the ring, but the business side of things as well. Guaranteed purses for Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz. Jake Paul was guaranteed $2 million last night. Okay, Nate Diaz was guaranteed $500,000. Now compare that. Look at the pay-per-view numbers that they're going to do probably, right? Compare that to the mammoth $20 million guaranteed purse of Spence versus Crawford.
Yeah, Joe, they're probably getting a lot of the upside on the pay-per-view. You know what I mean? That's where they're making their money. They're going to take, whatever the gross was, subtract all the expenses and all that other stuff. Then whatever whatever that's left over, they're going to cut it between them two. So if it did, Joe, 800, if this thing did over $1 million, which I think it's going to do at the price, man, they're going to make a lot more than $2 million. So yeah, they got a lower guarantee, but they probably negotiated for a bigger upside on the pay-per-view. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, of course. And that's my point. When you look at the risk that these networks are taking and staging the Jake Paul events, they're not taking much risk, and they're just reaping reward from this.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, compare this now to the suggested purse of two non-ticket sellers like Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis, who most are speculating will be upwhere around $8 million.
For total?
Yep. Combined purse. Yep.
Well, that's them sucker, whoever, that's them guys, whoever decided to put the money up, man. They're going to lose money.
No. See, that's what I'm saying. The networks are not oblivious to the difference here. You're looking at all reward, very little risk compared to these high-priced boxing main events. Now, it should cause, fighters to start making less of a demand and start, investing in themselves as a result.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on this long-term boxing?
Well, I always said, boxing is a business and the network's a business, and they're not in the business to lose money. There's going to come to a point where they're going to put their foot down and they're going to offer, lower minimums, guaranteed, and you're going to make your money on the backside, But yeah, some of these fighters, man, they want as much money as they can up front, and the networks, they bend over backwards for them, and they shouldn't really, because where else are they going to go? You know what I mean? Hell, man, if I was running one of those networks, you try to pull that bullshit with me, especially what's the name, Haney and Progress, a fight that definitely doesn't have any mainstream appeal, and they want mainstream money. Yeah, politely shake their hand, have a nice day, go find somebody else that's going to give you the money, and good luck.
Now, once again, G Funky, I wasn't aware of this quote, but he actually quoted Regis Prograis and said, "You know what? The money had better be right." And my response was, "Or what?
Or what?
Or what?" Exactly. Would you like to expound on that, brother?
Yeah, the money ain't right. Or what? Where you go somewhere else? You think somebody else is going to give you the money? If the money, these fighters, they get in this head, man, I'm worth this much money. Why? You're only worth as much as your market value is, man. You know what I mean? Now, if these idiots that run these networks, they overpay your market value, hey, that's on them. But if they're smart and budget conscious, they're going to pay you your market value. And if you don't like it, go somewhere else. I ain't got time. There's too many other fighters out there, man, that, will put on great fights, a lot more reasonable. Dana White, that's why he has the control that UFC, man. You know what I mean? You don't want the purse. Next guy up. That's their mentality.
Yep. So my guess is, guys, this is going to cause the market, and it's going to cause these fighters to take more or ask for much more reasonable pre-fight demands. Now, look, Gogue. Now, once again, this leads us to our next fact or fiction, right? Fact or fiction, sir, number 2. As unwise as it may seem, Spence Jr. will invoke his rematch clause and take on Terrence Crawford at 154 pounds later this year or early next. Fact or fiction?
He ain't gonna leave $10 million on the table, man.
Yeah.
That's he could retire after that, but he ain't gonna leave no $10 million on the table.
And you know what? And once again, contractually obligated, Showtime's on the hook for this rematch for $20 million if both fighters agree to do it. Coach, now once again, Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Crawford, while they scored a big, not only critical hit, but commercial hit. Numbers, well, between 650,000 and 675,000. And at an $85 price point, that was a huge commercial hit. Everyone involved made money. Coach, in your mind, what is the probability of this rematch if it happens? What is the probability of it breaking even or making money once again?
Yeah, good question, Joey. The reason why this pay-per-view was hot, it was like a 50-50 fight, for the undisputed welterweight championship of the world. A lot of people were picking Crawford, a lot of people were picking Spence. So there was that intrigue, you know what I mean? But because of the one-sided beating, it left the image in people's mind. If there's a rematch, ain't nothing going to change. And it ain't. It's going to be reality. Earl Spence is going to get his ass whooped again. So they might not be doing, they might be doing under 500,000 pay-per-views, man. They might take a hit. I mean, what do you call it? A little hickey the next fight and lose some money. That's just me,
Yeah, you know what? I guarantee you there's one person that's hoping that a rematch doesn't happen, and that's my brother, Steven Espinoza.
You said the rematch won't happen?
No. I guarantee you. I haven't talked to him a little over a week, but I guarantee you he's hoping that this rematch does not happen because $20 million, that's a lot to recoup, sir. Now, keep in mind, guys, this gate was enormous. It was the 6th largest gate for Spence Crawford in Vegas boxing history, doing over $21 million, right? Keep in mind, guys, Steven Espinoza does not see a dime of that. Coach, would you like to explain that? Who gets the gate?
Probably the fighters, the promotions, on how they negotiate it. You know what I mean? The ticket sales and everything. I don't know what the cut is, the percentage, you take the ticket sales, you subtract, what it costs to rent the arena and all the other bullshit. And, like any other business, you take the gross and you take the gross and you subtract the expenses and you get the net.
What a lot of people don't understand also is the site fee, the gate.
There ain't no site fee.
Well, the gate, it pays for the preliminary bouts on the card as well. Yeah. And so from my understanding, Spence got a higher percentage of the gate. He also got a higher percentage of the back end residual from the pay-per-view, right? But guys, Showtime Sports, after meeting that threshold of $20 million guaranteed, they are only entitled to 10% of the pay-per-view revenue stream. That's all they get, right? When they recover that $20 million guaranteed, that threshold. And that's how it works, guys. So once again, it's going to be a tall order seeing it that they're on the hook once again for $20 million. But Gogue, bottom line is, does anyone want to see this pay-per-view? And in your mind, Should Errol Spence Jr. step away from the sport, sir?
Joe, the way he got destroyed, there's that, like I said, public perception. Things ain't going to change. He's going to get destroyed again. And, it's going to be a mismatch. People don't pay for mismatches. They pay for intrigue, 50-50 fights. Okay.
Yep.
And it's going to be a tough sell for Steven. That ain't my problem. It's their problem. Let them deal with it. And since Errol Spence retired, I think he should. He's a shot fighter, man.
Guys, before we get to the main event, and before we say hello to our dear friends in the chat, our War Week Radio extended family members, we do have one more thing to go over. Once again, are you surprised, Coach? Once again, Dillian White, for the third time, tests positive for an quote-unquote adverse finding from his Veda test. Pre-fight Veda test, right? So now he's been scrapped from the big Anthony Joshua fight that was supposed to take place this Saturday night. According to DAZN CEO, Joe Markovsky, well, he gave an update. He says, look, this is not good, guys. He said, we haven't scrapped the event. We're obviously very disappointed, and I'm quoting him now, quote, we're obviously very disappointed. I know AJ's team is. I know Eddie Hearn is, and I really feel for Eddie. I feel for AJ more than anyone else, though. But, yeah, you know what? The right decision was to scrap that fight. We're now in discussions with Matchroom. We'll see what happens there. Nothing will get announced, though, until early next week. It's early next week now, guys. This is – now, I'm just, once again, connecting the dots. We'll see if I'm formulating the correct picture. But with our experience within this business and with the precedent set by Lennox Lewis versus Vitaly Klitschko almost 2 decades ago, right? My guess is, because once again, I tried to contact Coach Ronnie. Okay. He has his phone turned off, guys. And there's only 2 reasons why Coach Ronnie turns off his phone. 1, he's in the middle of a prize fight. 2, he's en route to his next location for a prize fight. That's the only 2 situations in which Ronnie keeps his phone off. Guys, that means he's headed to the UK with Philip Ergovich, right, who was already slated to fight Dennis McKeon at the co-main event. Coach Gogue, would you be interested? Wait, hold on. I've got Fact or Fiction here. Number 3, Fact or Fiction. Philip Ergovich will step in as opponent for Anthony Joshua this Saturday night, but the event will not be shown on pay-per-view, but regular subscriber to DAZN. Fact or fiction, sir?
That could be a possibility just to save the show. Yeah. I mean, pay-per-view, who gonna buy that guy, man? Herkovich, nobody knows who the fuck he is. Nobody cares about him. This fight with White and Joshua was, an all local area, matchup. Even though they're on the world stage, they're both local. You know what I mean? There was a lot of buzz going on. You know what I mean? For people to see this rematch. That's why it was on pay-per-view too. Okay, they don't put hot matches on regular TV. They put them on they make you pay for the motherfucker. So I can see it just to save the show, man. Yeah,
because let's just face it, guys. How is the DAZN boxing schedule looked? I understand that they scored a big hit with this circus event last night, DAZN, in collaborative effort and collaborative distribution with ESPN. But as far as the boxing goes, how's their schedule looking on DAZN at this time?
Good question.
Yeah, it's abysmal. Like it's very difficult to rationalize as fans why you should continuously pay for that subscription, that $25 a month, right? Yeah. And so in order to salvage that, keep this on the schedule, my guess is they're going to go through with this event, upgrading Philip Ergovich to the main event of the evening, but not charging pay-per-view. Now, look, the only other option they have, Coach, is Derek Chisora from the UK.
He ain't been training.
Well, he claims he has, but look, he's a shot fighter nonetheless.
Yeah.
My biggest fear is, Coach, they're going to look at Tyson Fury knocking out Derek Chisora. Let's see if Anthony Joshua can make shorter work of him. That's my biggest fear. I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but those are your two biggest selling options at this point. If you had to guess, Coach, which one do you think they pull the trigger on? Chisora or Filip Hrgović?
Hrgović, he's ready to fight. You don't know if that other guy's ready to fight. We'll see. That's their problem, not mine. You know what I mean?
Very well said, guys.
Interested in this matchup anyway. This Chisora and Joshua.
Or Dillian White. Yeah.
Oh,
Look. This is what I'm saying, guys. In my opinion, this is very reminiscent. You remember when Kurt Johnson got a shoulder injury and had to duck out of the Lennox Lewis fight at the Staples Center 2 decades ago? Vitaly Klitschko was already on the undercard. He gets thrust up into the main event. We see an instant classic. I'm hoping something similar happens with Anthony Joshua versus another top 10 guy like Filip Hrgović, the IBF, interim title holder, right? But stay tuned, guys. We'll keep you updated. We should get more news tomorrow, and I will talk to Coach Ronnie. Now, once again, he won't be on the show this Tuesday. He's going to be in the UK, but we will keep you updated, guys, on this. Let's say hello to our dear friends in the chat. First one on the board, my brother Larry Liston. He says, salute, gentlemen. I hope none of you are as stupid as I and watched that pathetic fight last night. Glorified exhibition. What an absolute disgrace to boxing and boxers in general. What a sad fight. Look, Gogue, did you see any second of that? And does it even matter how it played out?
You know what? I watched it over here, Mexico. But, look, that arena was packed. All right.
Yep.
They sold. I heard the gate was huge. The pay-per-view numbers were trending high, and like I said, Larry, these fighters are not like top of the line fighters, on the elite level or a top 10 fighter. But Jake Paul is doing stuff world champ. 99% of the world champions ain't doing nothing out there. They ain't putting asses in the seats. They ain't creating no excitement. They're not bringing mainstream fans into the sport to take a look at it. Okay. You see all these champions out there you got right now. Nobody gives a shit about them. Mainstream doesn't give a shit about them. Mainstream fans don't even know who they are. Okay. That's why boxing the last 5 years, it's been going downhill. It's become a niche sport. This guy is a mainstream star. Nick Diaz is a mainstream star, and they're bringing eyes back to the sport. You know what I mean? Even though they're not on the high level, like a Canelo or Terrence Crawford, they're still putting asses in the seats, and they're still, putting that, and they're still, generating pay-per-view buys and sponsorships and all that. And they're doing a lot of different stuff in the promotion. Like, did you see that Tank? He came into the arena. I mean, come on, man.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Pretty fucking ingenious and everything. He's doing a lot of different stuff. Not normal in boxing. Okay. So, but the thing is, he's getting mainstream. These kids out there, a lot of these young kids that don't even know who the fuck Terrence Crawford is, or don't even know who Inouye is, or Earl Spence is, but they know who Jake Paul is and Nick Diaz is. Okay. All right. So, he's, you know what I mean? The fight was pretty damn good. In fact, I liked it, man. I mean, Larry, it wasn't, Crawford versus Spence, but, when you got two guys that are evenly matched, no matter what skill your level is, no matter what skill level they are, the fights usually are entertaining. And Nick Diaz had, he had his moments, man, in the fight. And so did Jake Paul. He come out smoking where everybody thought he was going to last around. Nick Diaz sucked it up, you know what I mean? And weathered the storm and started coming back as a fight. Then all of a sudden he got dropped. That created a lot of, buzz in the arena and everything. But look, Larry, he sold the fucking place out. His number, they should do over 1 million pay-per-view buys. Give the guy credit, man. Like Mike Tyson said, man, he's good for boxing. He's doing stuff world champions out there ain't doing. All right.
Yeah. So what's worse, in your opinion, for the health of the sport, Coach? Jake Paul or prize fighters who demand way more than their realistic market value?
Prize fighters who demand more than the realistic market value. Them a guy like Jake Paul, he could carry the show, meaning he could pay the bills and make money, make everybody money.
Yeah. Look, guys, it may not be your cup of tea. And once again, there's something to be said, though. Like Don Warwick-Chargan always said, look, two bad fighters, two flawed fighters who are equal in ability. They'll often result in a very entertaining fight.
Yeah, you know what, Larry? People will grow tired of it. I don't think they're growing tired. I think he's getting bigger and bigger. He's bringing mainstream. DAZN and ESPN did a cross promotion. That's never happened in boxing before, man. I never heard of that. They usually, stay on their side of the street, and the other stays on their side of the street. They don't never cross the street. Join in the middle of the aisle and join forces. No, it doesn't happen, man. You can say what you want about Jake Paul, man, but I like him. And you know what? He's gotten better skill-wise. He's getting better. You might not see it, but I see it as a coach. He's getting better. He's getting better in his skills, the way he's, throwing his punches, delivering his punches, his footwork. Okay, moving around the ring, circling him, pivoting around him, stuff like that. Working his jab. Countering with the hook. He's getting better, man. Compared to when I seen that trash when he first started. He's a lot better, man. You can see, you give him credit. He's been working on his craft. And let me tell you something, Larry. This kid never had an amateur fight. He goes into my business and he creates this amount of buzz in just 6 or 7 fights. One of the, probably the top pay-per-view star in boxing right now, consistently. Okay, drawing big gates. You know what I mean? It's pretty damn. Him and Tank or Canelo. You could put him up there with him and Tank and Canelo. All right.
Gogue. Look, when you consider the big hit that Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis just had.
Yeah.
When you consider the big critical and commercial success that Terrence Crawford just had, and people are still buzzing about that performance.
Yeah.
Right. And then you look at this event. You got Canelo coming up later this year. Guys, say what you want, but boxing is once again being talked about among mainstream and casual participants.
And Jake Paul has something to do with it, because you don't produce numbers like that, pay-per-view and gate and ticket sales, by people not talking about it. Okay, he's getting mainstream press, brother. Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford, Earl Spence, they didn't get no mainstream press on what do you call it, on ESPN or the other networks. This motherfucker has. Say what you want.
I tell you what, in a collaborative effort that when you consider all parties that I just named, guys, boxing is very, very far from being a dead sport. Hallelujah. And that's the big picture, guys. That's the big picture. Let's move on, guys. We're running out of time. Jesus M., welcome to the show, sir, and thank you for supporting the coach. He says, saludos, coach. Valdez cannot afford to exchange with Vaquero. He must jab, angle, straight right, and stay off the ropes. Woo! Can we say Scorpion 2.0? We're going to wait for that. Yeah. We're going to wait to see how coach sees that. Want to also welcome EJ. Thank you for supporting the coach. How you doing today, Joseph? I'm doing great, brother. Now that you're here, I love seeing you in the chat. Thank you for supporting the coach every Sunday, my friend. Also, SSP Diving. Cheers, fellas. Cheers to you, my friend. Also, our sister, Denise Swartz.
What up, Denise?
Live.
Denise?
She's been supporting you on this since the old Eastside Boxing, Coach Gogue.
Yeah, 12 years, 11 years, yeah.
Sister Denise, would love to see you here. God bless you, sister. I hope you're doing well. It says also, Coach, I see Raymond Murataya versus Diego Torres. Close one with heavy exchanges, but Raymond too athletic and technical. We'll see. We'll see what the coach thinks. Also want to give a big shout out to Bruce, Gas Boxing, Jazz, and more.
Bruce,
Joe, and Coach Gogue. And yes, I did see SummerSlam, and I was very disappointed with the main event. I'll say that. And he says, Joe, you missed SummerSlam last night. No, I didn't. And I wish I had missed the main event. But the rest of the card was outstanding. Outstanding, but just disappointed with Roman Reigns. Also, my brother Joseph Brown. Salute Joseph and Coach James. Thank you for supporting the coach. And Larry Listen says, W.A.W once again says 3 failed tests in boxing and 1 in kickboxing as well. I hope AJ faces Dempsey McKeon instead. Bite your tongue, my friend. Bite your tongue. Let's hope he faces Philip Bergovich. That's a much better fight, guys.
Yeah.
Much better fight.
Yeah.
Also want to welcome Sean from Mexico. Says, evening, gents. Nice thumbnail, Joe. I live by the monument, the Revolucion. God bless you, brother. And thank you for joining us. And thank you for supporting the coach. Always very knowledgeable.
Is that Mexico City?
Brother. Yes, sir. Mexico City.
Ciudad Mexico. Okay.
Yep. Sean's a fighter as well. And he knows, boxing.
I switched my training camps up there when we get closer to the fight because they got a lot more sparring in the higher altitude. But man, it's a zoo over there, man. Oh, geez, the traffic and the people.
Oh, brother. G Funky Boxing. Greetings, Joseph and Coach Gogue.
What up, G?
And welcome to the show, sir. And if you haven't already, guys, please subscribe to my brother G Funky Boxing. And expect to hear a lot from us about these topics that we're actually discussing tonight. Also, my brother D Boxing Scholar, the Boxing Scholar. Welcome to the show, sir, and thank you for supporting the coach. Yes, Joe, what's good, bro? I didn't see it, Dave Busters. Brother, I was right up front with all my fighters. I had 4 of them with me, and we had a great time. In fact, I got very hoarse screaming at the screen. And it was a packed house. I'm glad you went, brother. But yeah, it was fun for all. And how did you like them just turning down the sound completely for that UFC event? Yeah, my brother Chris Armitage, the GM there at Dave & Buster's, yeah, he knew what the real event was.
Yeah.
He knew what the real event was. I'm glad you went. I'm sorry I didn't see you. I was the guy with the cane and the long hair with all the fighters. Yeah, that was me. I'm glad you went, though, brother. Thank you, my friend. Larry Listen says, Regis is probably the least popular American champion right now. I would have to agree with that, brother. The Boxing Scholar also says Gogue is old school. For real. He takes no crap like Bill Miller.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Bill. I knew Bill real well back in the days. He was a good man. Yeah, he's a good man. See, I could sit, when you talk to them old school boxing guys back in the days, I was a young kid back then. We could talk boxing. We talked the same language. Because if you didn't talk the language they did, they ain't got no time for you. They walk away. So when you go talk to them guys that are walking boxing encyclopedias, yeah, you better know your shit or they ain't going to give you no time of day. Bill, he's a good man, I met him, I don't know, 92, 93. Yeah, when Tony fought McCallum, the second fight in Reno, I think, yeah.
Yep, and there it is. Treetop Boxing. Welcome to the show, sir. It says, salute, Joseph and Coach. Can't wait to hear Gogue's official prediction. Also want to give a big shout out to my brother Pound. Salute, Joseph and Coach Gogue. Salute to you, my friend. Guys, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through all of them. Let's do this. Juice, welcome to the show, sir. He says, I'll pay for Spence Crawford, too. And that was an amazing performance from Crawford. I also think Spence will be better at 54, but so will Crawford, LOL. Coach, do you think Spence is going to look any better at 54?
Yeah, he'll be, then has, after the back half of the fight, Crawford will start, really busting his ass and breaking him down. Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Brother Khalid has the beat. He says, I'll pay $85 to see Bud's skills on display once again. All-time great fighter. That's the spirit. Guys, any chance you get to see a guy like Terrence Crawford live in the twilight of his career, you better be down. You better be down to pay for it, right? You better be down. Also want to give a big shout out to my brother Tyrese Bowie. Coach, what up, brother?
What up?
Also, my brother Teach. Yo, thank you for supporting the coach on this evening, brother. But that's going to be it, guys. Right now, now it's time to rattle off the tell the tape. Now, keep in mind, guys, this title is vacant. So there is no A side. There is no B side. I will say this, though. This is held in Glendale, Arizona. the house that Oscar Valdez built. But guys, we're going to rattle off the tape for La Vaquero or El Vaquero, Emmanuel Navarrete Martinez. He's going to come to the ring at age 28. He fights out of the orthodox stance, stands 5'7" tall in the center of the ring, fights behind a 72-inch reach from Distrito Federal, Mexico. He comes into the ring with a fine record of 37 wins, 1 loss, 31 big wins coming by way of knockout. Coach Gogue, what are the pros and cons for Emmanuel El Vaquero Navarrete?
He's a nonstop combination puncher once he gets going. Once he gets his momentum and he gets in the flow, boy, he's just nonstop. He's a nonstop, aggressive, relentless combination puncher. And now, it's just going. He doesn't just go out there and throw those punches, Joe. He throws them from all angles, man. Weird angles that you don't see. Like, he'll be in that right-handed position out of nowhere. At distance, he'll lead with that left uppercut, and hit you and put you on your ass. He hasn't, he'll hurt you anytime. It's just the punches he hits you with when you don't expect it at these weird angles, because you don't run into guys like that, in sparring or fights or even in the amateurs. Guys like him, that just throws these unorthodox punches from different angles, and they got some pop on it, and they can hurt you. And he's relentless too, Joe. His defense is shit. Okay, he gets hit a lot. Okay, he last fight he got his ass put on the canvas, and he was hurt real bad, but he weathered the storm and came back. That's what he's good at. You know what I mean? Coming back from adversity, fighting through adversity, pressing on through adversity. But he's just, like I said, Joe, he don't really work his jab a lot. It's just he goes by instincts. Okay, he flows with the fight, and he knows when to turn it on and turn it off. And the way he attacks you, Joe, with those combinations, you don't know which ones he's going to throw, because they're unorthodox. You don't know what angle they're going to come from, and he rips the body good too, Joe. Okay, and he's just, like I said, he's a high volume, aggressive combination puncher that throws these weird, awkward punches, combinations just from angles that you don't see, and it could hurt you, man. But his weakness, he ain't got no fucking defense. His defense is bad as McGill Burchell. He gets hit with everything, man. And when you're fighting a puncher like Valdez, that could be his poison. Okay.
Indeed, brother. Indeed.
But the guy's he's made for TV. That fight he had with Joet Gonzalez. Ooh. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. But Joe, me personally, this fight could be the end of his era if he gets hurt and Valdez finishes him off like he did Burchell. Or he could win this fight and he'll never be the same. Okay.
Oh boy. Yeah. I tell you what, Coach, a big red flag though, looking at Emmanuel Navarrete, was how he was hurt. Well, and like almost stopped by Liam Wilson.
Yeah.
In round number 4.
Yeah.
All right. That's a red flag going into this event.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're fighting a puncher like Valdez, Valdez might be a little long in the tooth, and getting with Eddie Reynoso, pretty much extended his career because he made him more defensive, made him a more intelligent boxer. Then when he was training with Manny Robles, he was just basically like Alarcon Burchell or Navarrete, aggressive pressure fighter that like to mix it up a lot. But now he's more intelligent, learning the sweet science, learning the number one is footwork, knowing how to use his footwork to keep that range and distance, knowing how to use his jab, knowing how to feint. This is the sweet science. You know what I mean? That's what prolonged his career. Learning the sweet science, getting hit less. Okay, working off his jab, his feints, thinking about defense. Stuff like that, and get this thing out of your head. Just going in there and warring toe to toe with the guy. If he would have kept that mentality, he would have been retired by now. But
that's right. And keep in mind, guys, go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
Because Reynosa, he's the one that kind of like switched him over. It took him a while too. It took him a few fights to get used to that style. You know what I mean? But it worked perfectly against Alacran Berchelt. Yeah.
That's it, guys. And once again, keep in mind, the first time I ever interviewed Oscar Valdez is when he had just turned pro from the Olympics.
Yeah.
And his first date competing on a top-ranked card. Guys, that was 11 years ago. So here's the tale of the tape for Oscar Rafael Fierro. Guys, he comes into the ring at age 32 now.
Yeah.
He fights out of the orthodox stance. Stands 5'5.5" tall in the center of the ring. Fights behind a 66-inch reach from Nogales, Sonora, Mexico. He comes into the ring with a fine record of 31 wins, 1 loss, 23 big wins coming by way of knockout. Coach Gogue, wow, what are the pros and cons of Oscar Valdez?
He's a fighter. He's mentally tough. He's resilient. He's a resilient competitor. He has a high degree of mental intestinal fortitude. Okay, that's what a real fighter has. Over the since he got Reynosa, like I said, he's developed into an intelligent boxer. Not just going out there and trying to slug with you. He works off his jab, his feints, using his footwork, looking to counter you with that big check left hook, stuff like that. And he's aggressive when he has to, you know what I mean? But he still gets hit a lot. He still gets hit, but not as much as he did before. But Valdez, he's got a lot of miles on his engine. Okay, through all the wars he's had, that broken jaw he had with that one fighter he fought through with that Scott Quigg, who came in overweight. That's
Scott Quigg, that's right.
Yeah, he came in overweight on purpose and broke his jaw, and that showed me right then and there. I got a lot of respect for that guy Valdez, man. And to me, he's developed into an intelligent fighter. When he surprised me when he fought Alejandro Berchelt, caught him with that counter check left hook, and that was it. And he was hurting Valdez the whole fight. With not only the hooks but the right hands, that jab. Okay, yeah, he's a former world champion, man. He's developed, like I said, that extra dimension to his game that extended his career. Which Eddie Reynosa had a lot to do with, and plus Canelo. Being in camp with Canelo all the time. Canelo, he's a smart, intelligent fighter.
Doesn't hurt. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, you know what I mean? So, but he's got a tough one against his Navarrete. Yeah, he's that Navarrete boy. He's a different type of. Even though he's aggressive, physical like Berchelt, it's just that he's a different type of offensive fighter. The way, like I said, the way he throws his punches, the angles they come from, the creativity. You can't predict what he's doing. Because he doesn't. He's unorthodox. That's what I mean. When you fight a guy that's unorthodox, you can't predict what he's going to do, what punch he's going to throw. Like that lead left uppercut from long range when he fought Pedrosa and dropped him. I'm like, Jesus Christ! I never seen a punch like that. And his arms are long too, Joe. He's got long arms. He could do that, man. He can hit you with them long range. The punches that you usually catch your fighters at short range, he could do it from long range because his arms are so long. That's what makes a different competitor, a different predator than Berchelt. Okay.
And there it is. So what are the keys to victory for Emmanuel Navarrete, El Vaquero?
Don't get hit by that check left hook or that right hand. Just be more defensive, cautious. Be patient. Don't try to rush shit. Sometimes he gets over aggressive. That's gonna be his fatal flaw if he does that. Because when he gets over aggressive fighters like Spence, they leave openings for good fighters to counter. And Valdez his biggest weapon is that counter check left hook. And if he hits him, either blocks and counters, or when you're walking in, he'll just time you and throw it. he gonna put you on your ass. So he's got to be aware of that counter check left hook. Be careful early on. Box him. I mean, not box him. Just don't press the attack so fast. Okay, early on. Take your time. Figure out what Valdez is gonna do, which is run. Box and move. So you got to close that distance intelligently. Close that distance intelligently without taking a lot of incoming, especially that counter left hook. Get them by the ropes as much as possible. Pin him by the ropes. Eliminate his escape routes. Then, if you can make him a stationary target, then that's when Vaquero Navarrete works best, because that's when he starts getting in that flow and starts getting that rhythm. He starts putting them combinations together. Head, body, head. And Joe, he throws some beautiful uppercuts, man. He'll boom, hit you with that uppercut, then he'll come back with that body shot, or hit you with that body shot, then come back with them uppercuts. Man, that's hard to defend. Then he'll come back around with a right hook. He hits you with these punches coming from all angles in the pocket and at long range too, Joe. That's what makes him a unique predator, okay, where he can hit you with those unorthodox uppercuts from long range and you don't see it, and you're going to be put on your ass. That's what I would, just be careful early on. Then as the fight goes on, okay, you gotta feel for Valdez's power, his speed, what he's trying to do. You gather more information. So, then you start getting, and you're warmed up and you're starting to get in the flow. You're starting to get into, in the rhythm and closing that gap and everything. Main thing is trying to apply intelligent pressure without taking a lot of incoming and stop that movement from Valdez. He's going to be executing all night, the boxing, the jab, the counters, okay? Because he ain't going to go there try to slug with Vaquero Navarrete. I guarantee you that. He's going to box intelligently. The same game plan he used for Burchell, he's going to use for this guy. But this guy, like I said, is a different type of predator to Burchell. Yeah. So that's the keys to victory for Vaquero Navarrete.
So what are the keys to victory for Oscar Valdez, sir?
Basically the opposite. Stay off the rope, stay out of the corners. Don't be a stationary target. Box intelligently, move in circles, move at angles, work that jab proficiently. If he tries to rush it, catch him with that counter left hook, and he better hurt him. Get his attention. Okay, put him on his ass. Put some fear into him. Okay, then just like I said, just get into rhythm. Box intelligent, movement. Don't stay on the rope. Stay out of the corners. Try to catch this guy with counters coming in first. That's what I would do in the early part of the fight. Don't even try to slug with him, man. Then if you can hurt this guy, then you start, putting you start putting more gas to the pedal, okay, and start pressing the attack. Yeah, but you gotta go by feel, man. This guy, man. You don't want to get in the slugging match, so you want to box him intelligently. But if you can hurt him, then you start picking it up. But if this guy is, which he's going to be resilient and tough, he's going to come back fighting. Take a step back and start boxing him. What I'm trying to say is you pick your spots when to go toe to toe with him. Then you back off and get back to boxing him, breaking down with that intelligent jab, movement, angles, moving in circles. Keep on turning, Navarrete. Oh yeah, hit that fucker's body too. Not only that counter hook, but hit him with some body shots. Okay. Tough pressure fighters with good chins right here. That's their weak spot. That's their breadbasket, as they call in boxing. Hit them with some good body shots to slow him down. And, once you can control his pressure from not being aggressive and coming forward a lot, and you making him hesitant, then it's going to make your jab more effective. Like Spence, the second round, right off the bat, okay? What do you call it? He drew the line. Okay. As soon as they got inside, Spence was physical. Got in that little shoulder roll position. Okay. Crawford was physical. Spence, as soon as he started to, attack him, charge him, Crawford got into that little shoulder roll position. held his ground, planted his feet, set his back leg good, where he was a strong, he had a good fundamental strong stance where he couldn't get pushed back. So when Spence tried to push him back, he just bumped him with that forearm and pushed him back. He let Spence know right off the bat, you're not going to push me back, bitch. You're not going to just, And that's what you got to do with this bitch. Because when Spence, like Navarrete, they're bullies. When they got you back in a straight line, that momentum starts going to the side. That's when they start feeling their their mojo and starts putting them combinations together. But you got to put the halt. You got to draw the line. When you get in the pocket, he's got to put that lead shoulder right in Navarrete's middle of his chest, just like Holyfield when he fought Tyson. They knew Tyson, when he comes forward, that's when he's dangerous. But if you don't let him back you up and you push him back, Tyson is not the same fighter. It's the same thing with Spence. It's the same thing with this Navarrete. You get in the pocket, you let him right off the bat, boom. You don't let him push you back, okay? If you want to tie him up, okay? But don't let him push you back. Let him know that, you're not going to bully me. But me, I would tie him up just to, letting them know that you're not going to, when starting off, tie him up, just let them know you're not going to push me back. Then has a fight, they get in the clinches again, hold your ground, don't let him push you straight back, then start ripping them uppercuts, because that fucking guy's he's open all day for uppercuts or the left hooks and them body shots, okay? But pick your spots when you want to work inside. Don't try to stay to the whole fight and get in a firefight, and that's going to be your downfall. But get inside, let them know, boom, can't push me back, work effectively, okay? Take it back on the outside and start boxing with that jab. Start moving, boxing in circles. Start pivoting around them, okay? That's how you stay off the ropes, Joe. That's how you prevent somebody from pushing you back. And it is right off, like Crawford, man, right off the bat, he let Spence know, hey, man, this is, you're not going to push me straight back. You're not going to bully me. I'm going to hold my own. And he did. Right off the second round, right off, boom. He got to use his lead forearm to shove him a little, to create that space. Then he took him and pushed him back. What you got to do with a guy like Navarrete, who probably, who squares up a lot inside. A fighter that squares up a lot inside, they don't have no leverage. You can push guys like that back, okay, because their feet are not set correctly. They don't have the right fundamental stance to get the maximum leverage you need, okay, from getting pushed back. It's all about technique, Joe. It's about leverage. But when you get inside, it's technique and leverage, understanding it. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, guys, pearls of wisdom right now from Coach Gogue. And I tell you what, it's making this fight even more intriguing. Guys, and when you look at the odds, we always consult our favorite book, MGM, BetMGM.
Navarrete.
Guys, they have it currently listed. Listen to this. Oscar Valdez, minus 160. Emmanuel Navarrete, 135. Plus 135.
So Valdez is the favorite.
Yeah, so, Valdez is a slight betting favorite. But, guys, that's about as close to a 50-50 fight as you're going to see. So, once again, the handicappers, the fans, they're undecided on this one, Coach. So, guys, that leads us into Coach Gogue's big fight prediction. Coach Gogue, who wins between Oscar Valdez versus Emmanuel Navarrete for the vacant WBO super featherweight title?
Woo! Last time I voted against Valdez, but this time I'm voting against Valdez. I'm going with Navarrete. He's a different type of predator, Joe. Woo! Only thing I'm worried about, he ain't got no defense, and he could get hurt, and he could get knocked out.
Well, it's a 50-50 fight, Coach, for a reason. I tell you what, though, Coach. Now, like I said, there's no pressure, Coach. No pressure.
Yeah.
Only
your defense.
Look. Here, think about it for a second. Think about it. And once again, this is why I didn't want to read you the odds, but it really didn't help in this matter anyway.
Saying it. Here's the reason. Because he's a different type of predator than Valdez. Okay? If his people are smart, they would work on taking away that counter left hook and quit being as reckless. Okay? Choose your spots to put that momentum, to press that momentum, okay? And land them awkward punches. See, this dude got long arms from here. He's like Akeem Olajuwon. He could throw them unorthodox uppercuts from long range and put you on your ass. I never seen that before from either hand. And he goes back and forth, southpaw, right-handed. But he's got no fucking defense. I could close my eyes and hit him all day. You know, but somehow I got a feeling he's a different type of predator. His offense, it's unusual, Joe. This is not normal. That's what I'm saying. Burchell was more normal. Okay.
Yeah.
This guy's pressure attack has some sophistication to it.
Yep.
But no defense.
So, Coach Gogue, here it is. And once again, no pressure, only your unblemished record. Now, keeping in mind, guys, for the past 2.5 years that we've been on YouTube, Coach Gogue has only been incorrect twice in his pre-fight predictions. One of them was Oscar Valdez versus Alacran, the Scorpion, Miguel Burchelt. Coach Gogue, this is your final chance. What is your final prediction on this fight?
I'm going with Navarrete. I don't like his defense. That's scary. But his offense, I think his offense will be enough. And I think his competitive resilience, his mental intestinal fortitude, his physical toughness. Well,
I tell you what, though.
He'll be able to get through those tough times in the spot.
I tell you what, though, guys. I tell you what, though. G-Funky picking the Scorpion 2.0. He's picking Valdez big. Also, Larry Liston edging Valdez. I will say this, though, guys. I will say this. If Gogue is proven correct once again, shame on you for picking against the coach.
Look, now, he's this guy, boy. He's a man. What you call in boxing, he doubles, triples, quadruples up on his combinations. Once he hit you with a combination, you ain't throwing back. He's on you again with another combination, with another combination, with another combination. And these combinations are coming from all angles, man. His uppercuts, you don't see him coming, man. He'll just out of nowhere, whack. Then he'll hit you another one. Then he'll hit the body. He's just, and this Valdez, can he, he's older. You got miles on his engine. Can he, stand up to an attack like that? At a younger age, yes, but a 32-year-old who's been through a lot of wars, I'm going with fucking Navarrete, baby.
But and there it is. So is that Susan Navarrete TKO 11.
The way that motherfucker got hurt his last fight, man, kind of scary. But it's how he was. Like I said, when you face adversity in that square circle, I want to see how you react. But more importantly, I want to see how you respond. And Navarrete responded like a champion, like a resilient competitor. Okay, yeah.
Yep. And there it is, guys. There's Coach Gogue's official pick for this Saturday night. Yeah. He likes El Vaquero, Emmanuel Navarrete. And once again, Coach, we have to get this from you. Now, according to, the BetMGM, once again, going the distance is minus 240. Okay? Ending within the distance is plus 160. That means, they like it ending under 11 rounds, right?
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to end in a knockout, sir?
Oof. Yeah, I think it is, man. This is savagery at its best. This is going to be a brutal physical fight, and if Navarrete could get through this fight and get his hands raised, that's going to be his last great fight on his career. And it's going to be the end of Valdez. Yeah.
And there it is, guys. There it is. Let's give a shout out to my brother, Tyco TV. Thank you for always supporting the coach on Sunday. Also, our brother across the pond, Toby Bartlett. Thank you so much for supporting the coach on this beautiful Sunday evening and his big fight preview. Also want to give a big shout out to my brother, Puro South Central. Puro. Hey, man, I tell you what. I can't wait for this one, guys. This has fight of the year written all over it, guys.
Joe,
but I will say this. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
What happened was everybody's still thinking about the Valdez and Burchell fight.
Yep.
Yeah, and how we destroyed him so easily. Everybody's thinking about the last fight, how this guy ain't got no defense and got hurt, and that's why they favor, it's perception. But when they get in that ring, it's different, okay? And just me, it's offensive attack. It's awkward, unpredictable, kind of sophisticated too. Yeah.
Guys, my money's on the coach. Tell you what, we'll find out. It happens live on ESPN this Saturday night. And once again, guys, don't forget about the amazing co-main event. I like it too. It's going to be Raymond Murataya. Squaring off against the game, Diego Torres. This is going to be a great evening of boxing, guys. Yep. Azabache Torres. Yep. This is going to be an amazing evening of boxing, guys. And once again, go ahead.
I live for savage nights like this. Yeah. It's going to be a savage, brutal night.
Yeah, guys, and best of all, it's free. It's free on ESPN. Woo! Thank you, Top Rank. Thank you, Bob Arum. Thank you, ESPN. Tell you what, I'm going to love it, guys. And once again, depending on what happens, we very well may ask the coach to help us size up if this does indeed take place, and I think it will. Anthony Joshua versus Filip Ergovic, live on DAZN from the UK. Coach, would you be available maybe later on this week?
Yeah, let me see how my schedule is. Yeah, let's see.
And there it is, guys. There it is. But we're 63 minutes in. Coach, do you have any parting shots for our listening audience, sir?
No, I'm excited about this fight, man. I was excited. This fight it's been on my radar because I know, man, I can smell a good matchup when it's announced. But the co-main event, I know Azabache real good. He's a good kid, comes from a good family, him and his brothers. And I want him to win. Will he win? I don't think the odds say that he has a chance and everything. But
all I can say is this, Coach. Thank you, Brad Goodman. 17-0 Raymond Murataya versus 16-0 Azabache Torres.
Yeah,
I love it. Guys, once again, it's going down this Saturday night. And guys, on behalf of the incomparable Coach James Gogue, I'm Joseph Heron. You've been listening to War Week Radio. Have a wonderful Sunday evening, everybody.
Halftime Pizza and FightSaga.com proudly present War Week Radio with 5-decade fight trainer James Gogue.